Picture yourself no longer ruled by your emotions, no longer a prisoner to anger, fear, or sadness. Instead of reacting impulsively, you respond with calm, clarity, and total control. Does that sound like the kind of life you'd want to live? If your answer is yes, then this video is for you. Today I'll guide you through 10 powerful steps inspired by Stoic principles that will help you master your emotions. If you're ready to take full control of your life, it's crucial to identify and eliminate certain negative habits right away. Stick with me until the end, because these steps will transform the way you handle emotional challenges. Before we dive in, I'd appreciate it if you could like and share this video to help me reach more people. And if you don't want to miss any of my upcoming content, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Point 1. Accept that emotions are temporary. Emotions are like the weather, sometimes sunny, other times stormy, but never permanent. No emotion, no matter how intense, lasts forever. This is a fundamental principle we must fully understand. When you feel anger, sadness, or fear, it's easy to believe that this feeling will be eternal, that it will dominate you forever. But Stoicism reminds us that emotions are merely fleeting events in our minds, not a perpetual sentence. Instead of fighting your emotions or trying to suppress them, the key is to accept their transient nature. Fighting against them only gives them more power, while acceptance weakens them. Imagine a storm. No matter how fierce, it eventually dissipates. The same goes for emotions. So, when you feel overwhelmed by anger, fear, or sadness, remind yourself, this too shall pass. Stoicism doesn't ask you to ignore or suppress your emotions, but to observe them with serenity. It's like being the captain of a ship in the middle of a storm. You can't control the sea, but you can control how you navigate. What overwhelms you is not the emotions themselves, but your reaction to them. By observing them without attachment, you become an observer, not a victim. The next time an emotion threatens to control you, don't run or sink into its intensity. Recognize its temporariness. If you view it from a distance, you'll see it's just a wave in the ocean of your life, and like all waves, it will eventually subside. Point 2. Focus on what you can control. Most of our suffering doesn't come from what happens to us, but from our obsession with things outside of our control. Stoicism invites us to reflect on what is truly within our control, our thoughts, actions, and decisions. Everything else, from the weather to other people's opinions, is beyond our reach. Wasting our emotional energy trying to change the uncontrollable only leads to frustration and stress. Failing to distinguish what you can control from what you cannot leaves you at the mercy of external circumstances. Stoic philosophers teach us to focus on what we can control, our responses. Adversity, insults, or criticism may happen, but your reaction is entirely yours. In the face of any challenge, you can choose how to respond, and that choice is the core of your emotional freedom. When you focus your attention on what is within your control, you free yourself from the emotional chains others try to place on you. This principle, known as the dichotomy of control, is the antidote to anxiety and restlessness. If you can change it, do so with all your strength. If you cannot, let go of that worry. Your mental peace depends on this skill of discernment. Imagine carrying a suitcase. Filling it with things you can't control means carrying unnecessary weight that drains you, while focusing on what's within your hands means carrying only the essentials, what you can actually improve. Remember, every minute spent on things beyond your control is time wasted. Focus on yourself, your actions, and your decisions. This way, negative emotions will lose their power, and you'll feel more empowered in the process. Point 3. Breathe before reacting. In moments of tension, our emotions tend to overwhelm us, like a flame igniting in the wind. Stoicism offers us a simple yet profound tool, the pause before reacting. Stop and take a deep breath. This small act, which may seem insignificant, is actually a powerful brake that slows down the inertia of uncontrolled emotions. Conscious breathing creates a space between what happens and how you decide to respond. That space is where your freedom resides. If you react immediately with anger, frustration, or fear, you lose control and allow emotions to take over. But when you breathe, you give yourself the necessary time to reassess the situation calmly. A single breath can make the difference between an impulsive reaction that could cause harm and a conscious response that reflects your true character. Stoicism teaches that emotions are not bad in themselves, but uncontrolled reactions can be destructive. Imagine being in a heated argument. Harsh words fly like arrows, But if you take a moment to breathe deeply before responding, that pause allows you to see the situation more clearly. You realize you're not obliged to respond with equal harshness. Instead of worsening the situation, you can take control and offer a calm and rational response. Every time you breathe before reacting, you reaffirm your power of choice. You're not a leaf blown by the wind of your emotions, but the captain of your ship, navigating calmly despite the storms. Point 4. Reevaluate your thoughts. Our emotions don't always arise from what happens around us, but from how we interpret what happens. How many times have you been angry because someone let you down, or because you didn't achieve what you expected of yourself? These negative emotions stem from the belief that everything should go according to our plans, but reality is very different. Human beings are naturally imperfect, and accepting this is not a sign of weakness but of wisdom. When you accept human imperfection, you begin to develop something essential: patience. This patience protects you from reacting emotionally to the mistakes of others and your own. Instead of getting angry or frustrated, you can respond with understanding and tolerance. Stoics taught that true inner peace comes from adapting to the world as it is, not as we wish it to be. Accepting imperfection also frees you from constant self-criticism. Recognizing that you can't be perfect all the time, you stop punishing yourself for every mistake or failure. Acceptance doesn't mean excusing bad behavior, but understanding that mistakes are opportunities for growth. Each imperfection is a lesson on the path to personal improvement. When you learn to accept imperfection in yourself and others, you will have taken a big step toward a more serene and balanced life. Point 6. Don't attach yourself to outcomes. One of the most liberating principles of Stoicism is detachment from outcomes. We live in a society that constantly pushes us towards success, an endless pursuit of goals and achievements. However, the Stoics understood something profound. The final outcome of our actions is not under our control. The only thing we can truly control is the effort and intention we put into our actions. When you become obsessed with results, you tie yourself to something uncertain and external. Success or failure becomes a factor that governs your emotions, leading you to live in a state of constant anxiety or frustration. Whenever things don't go as you hoped, disappointment hits. But if you can detach from the need to control the outcome, you free yourself from a huge emotional burden. Your worth is not measured by success or failure, but by the integrity and commitment with which you act. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can do here and now, without worrying about what comes next. Did you do your best? Did you put your full effort into each task? If the answer is yes, then the outcome is secondary. Detachment from results doesn't mean you don't care about what happens. It means you recognize that you don't have control over everything. You accept what comes with serenity. This detachment is the key to maintaining emotional calm. You no longer live under the tyranny of "what if it doesn't work?" or "what will happen if I fail?" Instead, you find peace in the process, knowing that you've done your duty. By letting go of outcomes, you embrace the present and live in harmony with your values regardless of what happens. Point 7. Maintain perspective. When an emotion overwhelms you, it can feel like the whole world revolves around that feeling. Anger, sadness, or anxiety take control of your mind, making the problem seem bigger than it actually is. But Stoicism offers an antidote to this narrow vision: perspective. The Stoics invite us to take a step back and ask, will this matter in a month, a year, or even 5 years? In most cases, the answer is no. Maintaining perspective means remembering that our lives are full of ups and downs, and the emotions we feel at any given moment are just a small part of a much larger picture. Will an argument with a colleague ruin the rest of your life? Will a mistake at work define your career? Often what seems crucial in the heat of the moment loses significance over time. Remembering this, you can reduce the emotional intensity of a situation and respond more calmly. This principle also helps you resist the temptation to react impulsively. Expanding your perspective allows you to understand that not everything deserves a strong emotional reaction. The Stoics believed that many of our worries and suffering grow because we focus too much on the immediate. By adopting a broader view, you realize that most problems are temporary and, in the long term, insignificant. Maintaining perspective doesn't mean minimizing what you feel, but realizing that every emotion and situation is part of a bigger picture. Keeping your eyes on that bigger picture helps free your mind from the urgency of the moment, allowing you to make more rational decisions without letting emotions dominate you. Point 8. Question the importance you give to external approval. One of the great emotional challenges we face is the constant need to be accepted, admired, or validated by others. Questions like, "What will they think of me?" or "Did they like me?" can flood your mind, causing distress, anxiety, and often a loss of authenticity. However, Stoicism teaches a crucial lesson. The opinion of others has no real value when it comes to your inner peace. The Stoics understood that when you base your emotional well-being on what others think of you, you become a prisoner of their opinions. But how much control do you really have over what others think? Very little or none. So why allow something so uncertain to control your emotions? Question this need for external approval. Ask yourself, why do I care so much about what others think? If you are acting according to your values and principles, that should be the only factor that matters. The approval or disapproval of others is just background noise. Freeing yourself from this dependency doesn't mean becoming insensitive or indifferent, but recognizing that your worth is not measured by others' judgments. When you stop seeking external validation, you find a source of inner strength. You realize that what truly matters is being true to yourself, not whether others agree with your choices. By letting go of concerns about what others think, you will experience deep emotional calm. You won't be trapped in the ups and downs of approval or rejection, but will live with greater freedom and authenticity, guided by your principles, not the expectations of others. With this freedom, your emotions will no longer depend on external factors and will begin to align with your true self. Point 9. Embrace adversity as an opportunity for growth. For the Stoics, adversity was not an obstacle but a disguised opportunity. They understood that life's challenges were not only inevitable but necessary for personal development. Instead of running from or complaining about difficulties, the Stoics invite us to shift our mindset, to see every obstacle as a tool to strengthen ourselves, both emotionally and mentally. Every challenge, every situation that emotionally overwhelms you, is an opportunity to refine your character and improve your resilience. When you face a difficult situation or an overwhelming emotion, it's natural to want to escape or avoid the pain. But Stoicism teaches you to ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? Instead of letting adversity crush you, you can choose to see it as a test that allows you to measure and increase your inner strength. Moments of frustration, loss, or failure are not punishments, but fertile ground for personal growth. True power lies in how you choose to face these situations. If you complain or play the victim, negative emotions will consume you. But if you accept them as part of the process, you'll see how those same emotions turn into motivation to evolve. Every difficulty offers a lesson: patience, self-control, empathy, or even humility. Recognizing this is an act of courage and wisdom. Embrace adversity with open arms, knowing that it's preparing you for future challenges and making you a stronger version of yourself. The Stoics didn't fear pain or discomfort. They saw them as allies on the path to personal excellence. You too can adopt this mindset. Every blow from life is an opportunity to transform and rise above your emotions. Point 10. Practice gratitude daily. Gratitude is a powerful antidote to negative emotions. In a world that often pushes us to focus on what we lack, the Stoics teach us to shift our perspective, focusing on what we already have and the achievements we've made. Practicing gratitude every day not only transforms your mindset, but also strengthens your ability to manage emotions. Each morning when you wake up, or each evening before bed, take a moment to reflect on the things you're grateful for. They can be small things, like the warmth of the sun, a hot cup of coffee, or the support of a friend. This simple exercise reminds you that despite difficulties, there is abundance in your life. Recognizing the positive helps shift your focus from emotions like envy, frustration, and discontent, which thrive in the soil of dissatisfaction. Gratitude also fosters a mindset of appreciation and humility. It allows you to see value in the everyday and find beauty even in difficulties. When you face a challenge, instead of complaining about what you've lost, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? By adopting this attitude, you transform every experience into a valuable lesson. Over time, the constant practice of gratitude becomes a habit that rewires your mind. It helps you maintain calm and better manage your emotions by anchoring you to the reality of what is, rather than what should be. At the end of the day, by making a list of things you're grateful for, you'll fall asleep with a sense of fullness and peace, allowing these positive emotions to replace the negative ones. Practicing gratitude is not just an act of recognition, it's a path to a more emotionally balanced and enriched life. Controlling our emotions isn't easy, but with these 10 steps inspired by Stoicism, you can begin to build a life where you are in command, not your emotions. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends and family. Also, I invite you to watch my next video, where we will continue to explore how to apply Stoicism to improve your life. See you soon.